Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload a new video.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sneha Banerjee and today I'm going to talk about Stoicism as a philosophy for a better life. So let's get started with today's video. So to understand Stoicism, we have to go back to the story of the Zeno of Cyprus. Now Zeno of Cyprus was a very wealthy merchant, and one day he got shipwrecked in Athens and he was stranded and had no money with him whatsoever. So he went into a bookshop and read about Socrates and his philosophies, and he was so intrigued and interested that he began seeking the city's philosophers with whom he could sit down and talk and discuss philosophy. And eventually he became this person who had his own students with whom he began discussing philosophy, and he originated his own philosophy, the name of which is Stoicism. So from where the word Stoicism comes, it comes from the word stoa, which means a freestanding colonnade where Zeno sat with his followers and discussed philosophy. So if you look up the meaning of stoic in a dictionary, it will tell you that a stoic is a person who can go through pain and hardship without complaining. So somehow we associate a stoic with a person who is completely indifferent. But stoicism is much more than that. It's not just an attitude, it's a lifestyle that we choose over and over again every single day of our lives. Now, one of the basic lessons of Stoicism is about control. Now, we cannot really control our external environment, that is how someone talks to us, how someone treats us, how many hurdles we have to cross to achieve the goal that we have set for ourselves. But we can control our internal environment, that is our desires, our motivation, and our willpower. We can control that. That is in our control. So we have to declutter our mind and untangle all those twisted ideas that we have set in our headspace so that we stay sane even in difficult situations. But Stoicism is not just about being courageous and being sane in difficult situations. It's also about a day-to-day scenario, how we stay sane in our day-to-day lives. And this is where Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic writers, wrote that sometimes even to live is an act of courage. And that is just so true, because life in itself has its own monotony, its own issues. Now, Stoicism doesn't propagate passivity. It talks about self-improvement, how you bring out a time and sit with yourself and ask as many questions to yourself so that you can just come up to an ideal solution to all your problems. So you must have already heard about Marcus Aurelius. He was one of the most famous Stoic writers, and he was also a king. So he reigned for 19 years and he led his kingdom through two massive wars. Also simultaneously he was dealing with the loss of his own children, and that was a time when he sat down and wrote in his journal the experiences that he was going through, everything that was going in his headspace. He used to write that. So the experiences and theories written by Marcus Aurelius has actually guided so many great personalities all over the globe, and one of them was Nelson Mandela, who read through the lessons of Marcus Aurelius throughout his 27 years of imprisonment, and then he came out, and his victory is something that we are all aware about. Another very influential Stoic, Epictetus, wrote that we do not suffer from the events in our lives, we suffer from the judgment about them. And that is just so true. Sometimes we just end up magnifying into our problems, and we see ourselves through this magnifying glass, and that just intensifies our problems to some other extent. We feel that we are going through something extremely huge, but if we see from the ground level, maybe that problem is not that big. It is just us and our judgment of it. So when we intensify our problems, we see our problems from a wider spectrum, which it doesn't really need to be seen from, but we do that because that's just our habit of doing it. And even modern psychology resonates with the same idea, which brings us to the rational emotive behavioral therapy, which focuses on changing a person's self-defeating ideas that they form about their life's circumstances, and which is just so true, because sometimes we just intensify our problems in our head. So there's also a book named A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, and I've also done a review of that book, so I'll put the link in the description. Don't forget to check that out. So in that book, Viktor Frankl has actually spoken about logotherapy, and logotherapy is also based on the principles of Stoicism. So it basically speaks about how you can accumulate all your willpower so that you can fill your life with meaning even in the most bleakest circumstances. And there are so many examples in the book where he speaks about such hard circumstances that he has dealt. So to sum it up, there are two pillars to Stoicism. The first one is the cardinal virtues, and the second one is the dichotomy of control. So the cardinal virtues have four elements in them. The first one is practical wisdom, which speaks about what is good for you and what is not good for you. The second one is courage, that is the courage to stand up and do what the right thing is. Justice is about interacting with others and knowing what to do, and also knowing how to treat other people. The fourth one is about temperance, that is not going overboard with your feelings and not even underdoing it. So the second pillar is the dichotomy of control, that is about some things are in our control, other things are not. So we are only going to focus on the things that are in our control, such as our mind, our headspace, the motivation that we give ourselves, the desire for the things that we have, basically the things that are of our own doing. And the things that are not in our control are our body, our property, our reputation, the image that people form of ourselves, that is not in our control. Now obviously body is also not in our control, because we can choose to go to the gym and have a healthy diet, but what if we have an accident and we break our leg in an accident? So we are not going to focus on the things that are not in our control, and that's where Epictetus also wrote this very sarcastic and humorous thing, that if I have to die now, then I guess I'm going to die. But if it's not now, then I guess I'll just have my lunch, because this is the hour for lunch, and dying I will tend to later. So just like that, we are only going to focus on the things that are just in front of us, on which we have control, we can do it in a better way. We are only going to focus on that. And the future and the things that we don't have any control on, there's no use of worrying about them, because that's futile. So yeah, these were the two basic pillars of Stoicism, and everything that I told you, I have gathered all this information from different sources, but mainly from the lectures of Massimo Pigliucci. So if you want to see his original video, I'll put the link in the description as well. Alright, so that was all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I loved reading about Stoicism. This is one of those philosophies that is just so relevant even in today's era. I have also written a descriptive blog on it, so do not forget to check that out. That link will be in the description. And yeah, if you liked my video, then do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload a new video, since I put up new videos every week. And I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.